Test. I think we got the mic on now. So anybody who are watching the stream, we had a little mishap. We had the mic off. Let me make sure the mic working now, though. I just now seen that it was off. Okay, yeah, we got it working now. All right. So I gotta redo my intro. Okay. Let me make sure everything else is up right. I think we good. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Keith, back with another reaction, man. And today we got a video from Humors. Now the title says the dumbest Wall Street bets trades we've never seen. Honestly, I just feel a little bit mean saying the dumbest, bro. We just can't say it, bro. We can't say the dumbest trade. So we gonna change the title to the craziest Wall Street bet. Like we ain't gonna do them like that, bro. I can't be saying the dumbest, bro. Cause ain't no, you know how the teachers be like, ain't no dumb questions or stupid questions, something like that. I kind of feel that way. I feel that type of way. Now, y'all don't mind me. Y'all know we on the new web count, but we got the new web count up. So we do feel good about that. But don't mind, I ain't brushed my hair, comb, and beard. I just literally just jumped on here, man. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. It is a little late, but hey, it's fine. I just feel like doing a reaction, man. I just feel like doing a reaction. So let's go ahead and get into it. Before we start, y'all know hit that like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below any type of other reactions y'all would like to see me do. And yeah, let's get on into it, man. Let's get into it. I don't know what that is. Let's press play. It is a little longer
From
of a
one user
video,
100xing his money in a
21 minutes.
day
So
to another user trading himself
let me
into
turn this
debt,
up
we're going to go over the craziest Wall Street
just
bets
a
trades
tad
we
bit.
haven't talked about over the years. Gemini of Wall Street is a user who YOLO'd into calls while he was under the influence, and
Come on
things
now,
went
what we lagging for?
interestingly. It was a Friday before a 3-day weekend, and he said he just took a real difficult exam. He went back home and got absolutely blasted before he started trading, which is always a smart idea. He looked at the
What do you mean
upcoming
blasted?
earnings releases for the week and saw that good old Walmart was gonna have their earnings call the following Tuesday.
Yeah,
Costco
Walmart.
had a pretty solid earnings report just before
That's
this,
crazy. I
and
just
that
talked
was
about
all Gemini
Walmart
needed to
on
see before
our
he
weekly
YOLO'd on
analysis.
calls. He typed in wall and quickly bought 100 calls. He put his phone down and went about his day as
Wall.
usual. Not really too
That's
worried
what he
since he
messed up
still
at.
had the weekend
Should
ahead
I
of
press
him. But
pause?
eventually,
We ain't gonna press pause for long. Bro, he put in wall for Walmart. It's WMT for the ticker, bro. He bought the wrong thing.
he realized, hey, Walmart's ticker is not Wall, it's actually WMT.
That's
He
what
just
I'm
bought
saying.
100 calls of Western Alliance. He
He
didn't buy
tripping.
Walmart calls, he bought Wall March 15th calls. That being said, he
Dang.
eagerly waited for the weekend to be over so that he could sell these calls that he didn't even want in the first place.
And he bought
When
on
it finally
Friday?
opened on Tuesday, he decided not to sell these calls, but actually FOMO into 100 calls on Walmart for real this time. He was already down quite a bit on Western Alliance, but it was all good since he knew he was about to bring in that gravy with Walmart that night. The only problem was that Walmart was up quite a bit, so he bought at a fairly high price. And just cutting to the chase, here's the aftermath. Gemini of Wall Street wants everyone to learn the
Hold on, what the
importance of
aftermath
double checking the
was?
stock ticker before you hit
Let's
that
go
buy
back real
button.
quick.
Tanner, here's the
What it say? Is this just how much you was down, like in dollars, or is this like you gotta move the decimal point? Cause if it's just dollars, he went down 10, about 15,000, almost 13, 14,000. But if it's actually gotta move the decimal point, then he down bad. That's 280,000. 500,000. I don't know if it's the actual decimal points or not, because I'm not familiar with this layout. But either way, he
aftermath.
still lost a
Gemini of
lot
Wall
though.
Street wants everyone to learn the importance of double checking the stock ticker before you hit that buy button. Tanner Bayer is a user who mainly uses Reddit to help him sell real estate, but on one special day, he got a gain so delightful that he had to post to Wallstreetbets. It was December 19th back in
So it's
2023,
Wall Street
and
bets
Tanner had
like
been day trading NASDAQ 100
is that
futures
like
consistently.
a page or something? Or like what is it? Cause he said he had to post to Wall Street bets. Like, and don't be a bashing me, bro. If y'all some traders and y'all already know what that is. Don't bash me. Just comment down below what it is, bro. 'Cause I'm fairly new. Like I said, I'm about 2 years in. Not too familiar with what Wall Street Bets is. Is it a page, Reddit page, Twitter page,
Since his main job as a
or what?
realtor was pretty slow that year, he felt like the market was due for a correction
I ain't gonna pause
anytime
no more
soon
for real.
after its strong
If
rally
we do,
through
it's gonna be quick.
2023. He crafted some technical analysis, and that was
What
all he
type of
needed to throw
technical
money on
analysis
zero
we got
DTE
going on?
puts. The index thankfully didn't rocket, but it did go up a little bit for the day with a 1/5% increase. He sold for an $1,800 loss, but still felt confident the market was due for a
Ain't that
correction.
bad.
So the
1,800.
next day, he bought even more zero DTE NDX puts. He spent just about $1,100, which wasn't much,
Ain't
but
that
it
bad.
was of course a very risky trade that would likely fall in value. He left his place to go do some showings, but as soon as he was leaving, he realized that he was already up 450% with a $5,000 unrealized gain. Not too long after that,
my
this
boy.
$5,000 gain grew to $12K. Even though he was up
Ooh, he was
1100%,
rolling.
he didn't want to sell. He placed a
He
stop
ain't
loss in case
closed.
things took a turn, but of course hoped the fall would continue. While he was out showing a lease listing, he looked at his phone and was shocked to see that his $1,000 position was now worth just a bit more than $100,000. His puts
Ain't no
were up
way.
9,500%, and he
Ain't no
sold for
way. $100,000, bro. He spent 1,100 on zero DTE same day. What the, bro? Ain't no way. We gotta check out NDX,
a
y'all.
$103,000
Hold up,
gain.
bro.
YOLOing your whole portfolio on zero DTE SPY options is never a good idea. All it
What
takes is
the-
one optimistic tweet, and you'll be heading to your nearest Wendy's
Bruh,
to pay that
100,000.
month's
I'm
rent. But with
closing. Why he
Imperial
ain't
Trader Funding,
closed?
the sponsor of today's video, you can make big trades without
Come on, we don't
risking
want
your
no
nest
ads.
egg. Imperial Trader Funding is
I
a
was-
first of its
I
kind
don't see
prop
no
trading
ads.
firm that allows you to
Come on.
$1,000 in real funding. This means you can trade with a lot of money, but if things go wrong, you're only out $100 instead of $100,000. It lets you put your
We might want to listen to
capital, pass an evaluation.
Is this
You
for
can
like
make
options?
big trades without risking your nest egg. Imperial Trader Funding is a first of its
For
kind prop trading firm that
options.
allows you to trade stocks, options, and more with their money. You put up a small, set amount of capital, pass an evaluation, and they let you trade with up to
Bruh, I've
120.
been, no lie, y'all. I've been asking people for a whole bunch, like this whole like 3-4 months. I was saying like with futures, you know how we got prop firms and stuff. And I think on the last reaction we did, I was like, we don't have prop firms for options, but I guess we do. I had to check this. Look. I had to check that mug.
$5,000 in real
They
funding.
don't want to see
This
me
means
with
you
no
can
prop
trade with a
firm for
lot of
options,
money,
boy. I'm
but if
killing
things
the
go
game.
wrong, you're only out $100 instead of
Hey, you only putting
$100,000.
$100
It lets you put
in?
your skills to the test. And hey,
Say
if you
less.
realize you're not the greatest trader,
I'm finna
you
go
can stop
crazy.
there, and you'll have saved your actual portfolio from taking a
They
hit.
finna
They
see
let you
me.
trade
I'm be
anything
having
from
prop
zero
firms for
DTE
everything.
options to complex delta neutral strategies like short strangles or iron condors. You trade, they provide the capital, and you keep up to 90% of the profits depending on the account you
Dang, what that
select.
called, Imperial?
On top of this, they're giving viewers of the channel a 10% discount
say
if
that
you sign
real
up with
quick,
the link
y'all.
down below in the description, and a free
Check
10K
them out.
evaluation
I'll
to
give
the
y'all a
first
review. We
100
might do a
people.
reaction
So
review
be sure to
video.
check it out if you're interested. One Mall4203 is a user who has YOLO'd hundreds of thousands of dollars over the past few years, all the way into 2025, and has even met Jerome Powell. Even though this user has blown up his portfolio as recently as 2025, he's actually been blowing up portfolios since 2023. Taking a quick trip back in time, One Mall's first post to Wallstreetbets was
So what
one
happened
that
to the last dude? The
definitely
last dude
showed
just took
he was in the right
100,000 and left?
place. From 2018 to the end of 2022, he took $20,000 to 334K, then straight back down to 10K. His next post
Dang.
after that one was not a screenshot of his portfolio, but actually an email from his university letting him know that Jerome frickin' Powell was gonna be in the building. He asked the subreddit what he should ask at the event and got responses like, ask him if he enjoys screwing over our calls or puts better, and what he thinks about lowering Ds. Well, the day of reckoning came along and One Mall said, Jay shook my hand when I first arrived because I arrived late, and I almost bumped into him entering the boardroom. My palms were sweating like crazy, but I think he could tell how scared I was, so he was pretty nice with me in his demeanor. He asked Jerome Powell about inflation and the Federal Reserve's role in reducing it. Well, meeting J-Pow had one Maul feeling pretty enlightened, so he went back to trading risky options. Reflecting on his 20 to 330 to 10K journey, he started sharing his trades again towards the end of 2023. On September 1st, 2023, he day traded Tesla puts and made $5,000. And guess freaking what? He was ready to flip-flop it. He got rid of those dumb puts and got calls instead. And these also blessed him with a $5,000 gain only 2 trading days later. He said, I made 5K on Tesla puts Friday, swapped them for calls to make another 5K. This is too easy. And then guess what? He made a post one day later and showed that he was up another $4,800 for the day.
Well, my boy making 5 bands like it ain't nothing.
Coinbase calls, Delta Airline calls, and finally AMD puts. If I keep making 5K every day, I might actually get out of debt in this lifetime. One Maul's portfolio was now worth about $22,000, but it only seems like $50 of it was on the sidelines. Someone commented, "Don't fall victim to the hot hand fallacy." But One Maul replied with, "No hot hand fallacy. I'm unstoppable. I'm on fire. Give me more of those nose beers." 2 days later, Coinbase, Palantir, and Tesla were all rocketing, so One Maul sold his calls that morning for a $12,000 daily gain. He now had just over $38,000 in his portfolio, which is pretty impressive considering it was only worth about $6,000 a week before this. He said, up 15K, not out of debt yet. This led to the natural question, student loans or medical debt? And One Maul replied with, nah. Gambling loans. I gambled to get in debt and gambled to get out. Well, a week later, it seems like he's not going to be able to pay off that loan. Down $30,000 for the day, and with an unrealized loss of $53K, things are looking rough. This means he made his way up past $60K before this post too, but just lost the majority of it. Don't worry though. He was determined to make his money back in no time. A few weeks later, he made a pretty decent trade on Palantir, where he was up almost $15,000 for the day and had a portfolio worth about $40K once again.
He need to start taking some of his money and walking away.
We see that he is pretty much all in on these calls, so he's definitely still riding on the wild side. After a few more trades, he made his way all the way back up to just about $70K. Mainly thanks to Tesla. Only 1 day later, he sold his Tesla calls and went heavier on Coinbase. He was down 7K on Palantir, 8K on Alibaba, but up 25K on Coinbase. And only 1 day after that, he started YOLOing everything into 1DTE Uber puts. This made him a whole lot of money. Psych! This lost him a whole lot of money, and his puts were down almost 83K. Just to sum up One Maul's journey so far, he went from 20 to 334K,
he be jumping up,
then
jumping
straight
down.
back down
What
to
he be
10K,
doing,
then all the way up to 60K, then bang, down to 12K, then up to 90K, then back down to just 5K. But going off of his logic, this meant he was due for an upswing soon, so he quickly got back to trading. He made so many trades throughout 2024, but here are just a few of them. A $15,000 gain on Coinbase puts, another $20,000 gain on more Coinbase puts, and a $19,000 gain on more Coinbase puts. He decided to switch things up on April 10th and YOLO'd $43,000 on 0DTE SPY calls. This was a choppy day for the market, and with only 1 hour left before the market closed, he was down almost 22K. In 30 minutes, Robinhood would automatically sell his calls, and it didn't look like the market was gonna turn green anytime soon. Except it did, and his calls jumped 46K in those 30 minutes. Luckily, he was able to sell for a $24,000 gain instead of a $21,000 loss. He took a long break from posting, but when he came back, he had quite a wild screenshot. Instead of trading on Robinhood, he was trading on Schwab, and apparently, he went from 1K to 25K, back to 0, then straight back up to 25K. His switch over to Schwab makes me wonder if his Robinhood portfolio is still with us. He said, thinking I should probably try trading some more conservative things, like 1DTEs or even weeklies. Well, now jumping ahead all the way to January of 2025, we see that he made his way all the way up to over 100K again, but fell all the way down to a nice balance of negative 5,000.
What the heck he be
also,
doing?
His journey
He must have got money
to
to blow.
wasn't very calm either. One Maul said, I'm
Bruh, who gonna
experimenting
go
with
up over
using
50K
quantitative methods to identity
and just let it go
cleanse and
all the way back
trade
down
short-term
again, like without
options. I
taking
got
no
to
money out?
100K last week and was irresponsible. But now I know what happens if I get assigned on options. Someone commented, "You have a gambling addiction
He
and should
do, bruh.
stop." W. Shea
He
is a
got
user
gambling
whose
addiction.
trading abilities have put the security of his family at risk. His journey didn't start off this grim though.
Alright,
His
who this
first post on
is?
Reddit was pretty tame, and instead of being on the
Who
Wallstreetbets
this dude
subreddit,
is?
he actually posted it to r/stocks. This post was made way back in October of 2019, and he was thinking about quitting his trading journey. He made $3,000 on big tech stocks like Facebook and Apple, but
Okay.
proceeded to lose $8,000 on Parsley Energy. His concern
Dang.
showed that he probably should just throw his money into a safe ETF and forget about it. Instead of buying ETFs, he started looking into biopharmaceutical stocks with upcoming FDA announcements, which we all know are very safe investments. He made posts asking for advice on a few of his, quite frankly, terrible stock picks, and in the mix, we also find this post. He admits that his portfolio is leaking money everywhere, and that even though he's buying the dip kinda just keeps on dipping. That being said, he was ready to move on from stocks, move on from risky FDA trades, and well, move on to the surefire way to make money in the market. Options. 3 weeks later, he got ready for another big trade. It wasn't an options trade, but it was another FDA one. It was December 10th, and he had about $18,500 worth of CORV stock. He asked what we thought about the stock and said that he hoped the FDA meeting didn't make it drop another 40%. The stock closed that day at $1.84 a share, but my freaking goodness, it opened at 70 cents a share the next morning. This was a
Dang.
62% drop overnight, and he lost $11,500 just like that. He said, "Lol, 60% down pre-market. I don't think my share's worth more than a piece of..." Now, note to self. Never touch a bio stock before FDA vote, especially when the panel is divided. A few months after that, he made a post asking if he should just sell all of his stocks before things hit the fan, but after that post, it's where things really took a dark turn. This time, r/stocks was tired of his BS, so he posted to the personal finance subreddit instead. This is where he revealed that he not only lost 40K over the past 2 years trading, but that he also took out a 401k loan to average down a stock he was heavily in the red on. Not very many people responded to this post, but the few who did all agreed that he should stop trading and just invest in the S&P 500 or another safe ETF. The story should end here, and it did. For 4 years. When he came back from his 4-year hiatus, he cut the bullcrap and stopped posting on r/stocks. He jumped straight onto Wallstreetbets because it was real serious business. He showed us that he was down about 37,000 on Robinhood over the past 3 months alone. But that was only the tip of the iceberg, unfortunately.
Boy.
He lost 37K over the past 3 months, of course, 160K last year, and 250,000 over the course of his trading journey.
Bruh.
He said, "My third account got done. I have finally lost hope. I will not trade again. Options have killed me. 250K in the hole." Relative Put 4461 said, "You were never trading, you were just donating." This is
That's
already bad
crazy.
enough, but in a follow-up post to the personal finance
Ain't
subreddit,
no way.
he spilled even more beans than he already did. He's actually in debt $20,000 because of these dumb trades. He's in his mid-30s and has a wife and kids. Funnily enough, he makes 150K a year and his wife brings in money too, so they could be living a
Okay.
very comfortable lifestyle.
I
if
said he
just
gotta be making
invested his
money, bro.
savings
'Cause
instead of YOLOing
all
them.
that
He
money.
has a master's degree, multiple engineering certifications, and works long hours for a consulting company, but finds it hard to put on a happy face for his wife and kids because of his dim-witted decisions. That being said, he quit trading
That's
until he has a
crazy.
down payment for a house, and finally realized why people just invest in safe ETFs. Well, things definitely went pretty
Yeah, I'm about
terribly,
to say,
but
that's
at
probably
least
best
he
for him.
finally learned his lesson.
Just invest
Is what
in
I
a
would have said
ETF
if
or
he
something,
didn't
bro.
post this 5 months later. Yeah, after all that commotion,
traded
he still
again?
lost another $23,000 over the next few months on what I'm assuming were more risky options trades. On the bright side, it looks like he picked up a second job, so hopefully he wisens up.
That man
Interaction Fund 5368
Alright, who
is a
this
user
is?
who got himself into $4.4 million of debt right before the holiday season.
4.4
Back on December
million.
20th of 2020, Interaction Fund made a post titled, "I need help. Robinhood says I need to deposit 4.4 million. He was in a concentrated maintenance call, but how did he get himself into such a big woozy? He started this trading spree with 32K. He was selling puts on DWAC for a couple weeks, and this brought him in anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a week. He then shifted on over to selling puts on SPY. This is
Well,
when
I
he
make
developed a
500,000
newfound love for iron
with
condors and selling
$200 in the
credit
account.
spreads.
What
On
you talking about?
Tuesday, he got kinda gypped after
Took you
Robinhood
32,000 to
automatically
make
closed his position for a
$500 a week.
$9,000 loss. This iron condor closed with both sides out of the money, so he missed out on a sweet gain. The next day, he locked in a $25,000 profit.
Oh, he
The
doing
next
like
day,
iron
the S&P
condors
fell
or
and his
whatever. That's
account
when they
dropped to
buy
less than
like a
25K.
put and
So he deposited
a
another
call, I
10,000.
guess.
On Friday, he started rolling his spreads from December 16th to December 23rd. Halfway through doing this, Robinhood swooped in and put a darn restriction on his account for some reason. They forced him to accept the loss of collateral on one of his trades and didn't let him roll it out. After spending hours talking to support, he ended up selling his position and clearing the call. Interaction Fund thought the coast was clear from here on out, but really the party was just getting started. 4 days after this, Interaction Fund got a kind notification letting him know that he needed to deposit $4.4 million
How the heck
into his
is
Robinhood
4.4
account
million
by
if he
the
only
end
had
of the day,
32,000?
or else they would have him dealt with. Interaction Fund was speechless and
How?
felt like he was being robbed since he already sold his position. He consulted with financial experts in the Financial Expert Hangout, aka Wallstreetbets. I need help. He got the help he needed with replies like, I heard Venezuela has no extradition, and borrow from another bank to cover that, then borrow from another to pay the
But
other
how
bank
he owe
off.
4 point
Interaction
some
Fund left the
million
community
if he
with
only
a
had
pretty concerning
32,000,
post,
y'all?
and he didn't give us any updates for about a full
I'm
year.
confused.
When he finally returned, he showed us that he no longer had an account deficit, but he also no longer had a six-figure portfolio anymore. What he did have, though, was 6 cents. He gave us a detailed update about what's been going on in his life since the $4 million fiasco, and it definitely isn't very good news. He says that he lost his full-time job shortly after losing his life savings on Robinhood. This forced him to move back home across the country to his sister's house while she is currently raising 4
I don't know, this one
preteens.
confused
He worked
me,
a new
y'all.
job that he absolutely hated and
So
moved
if he
once
have,
again, this time with old roommates. After
where
nearly
the
a
heck the
year of working
4.4 come
jobs that he
from?
hated, he finally got a decent one again and is able to start financially recovering again. After this stint of reckless trading, you would think he is done trading forever. And he is, kinda, not really. He says that he's been investing slowly and steadily, but he's only buying shares and selling covered calls on a singular stock. I'll tell you what the stock was in just a second, but in his post, he says that he is banking on the company becoming cash flow positive by 2025. Just look at this chart showing what happened to the stock 6 days into 2025. The stock in question was none other than Fubo. In his old post, he said, I think the company will be successful, but we will see. I am the guy who lost his life savings after all. But Interaction Fund never updated us on how his portfolio looks in 2025. He could either be up quite a bit of money or back living with his family again. Swimming Tourist 5632 is a user who got himself into quite the big pickle. He made his first post back on February 15th to the Wallstreetbets subreddit. He said, pretty big gain this week. But unfortunately the post got removed, so we can't see the screenshot of his portfolio. It's all good though, cause he made a new post only 3 weeks after that, and things were actually going mystically well for him. On March 7th, he had about $12.7 thousand in his Robinhood account and was feeling pretty darn bearish. That being said, he YOLO'd everything on 0 DTE SPY puts that were out of the money and only left $36 on the sidelines. Boy oh boy, was this a risky move, cause
you got
SPY
30
actually
something thousand, bro. I mean, when he was at 12K, bro, you at 12K. Why in the heck are you putting all 12,000 on a 0 DTE put? Like what the, bruh? Put half something, bruh. Not on 0 DTE, bruh. I don't know what the heck he was thinking.
Went up in price by the day's end. But luckily, Swimming Tourist sold before this. In fact, He sold his contracts only 38 minutes after buying them, more than doubling his portfolio. He was up $14,700 for the day. Swimming
Yeah,
Tourist felt like
came
an
back.
absolute genius now. So, like everyone else on Wall Street Bets, he decided that he was going to push his luck even further and YOLO his whole portfolio on 0 DTE options only 3 days later.
Here you
Well,
go.
it was March 10th, and
Tripping.
Swimming Tourist said he woke up late because there's no daylight savings time in Arizona. That being said, the market was already open for about 45 minutes, and it unfortunately opened in the red by almost 2%. Swimming Tourist thought the market was oversold and felt like people were getting too worried about Liberation Day that was going to be happening in a few weeks. He remembered the wise words of Warren Buffett and started dollar cost averaging into calls, getting ready for the inevitable reversal later that day. 30 minutes into holding, he was in the green by about $6,000, but this wasn't quite enough to satisfy his hunger, so he kept on holding. This was a foolish move though, cause SPY resumed its fall shortly after that. Before he knew it, his $33,000 portfolio was only worth $16,000. Even though his
I mean,
contract's
ain't that
value
bad.
just got sliced in half, he kept on holding. He
Oh,
held
heck
until
no.
his
He still
portfolio
held.
eventually hit a value of just $4,000. Down 23K for the day, Swimming Tourist portfolio had officially hit rock bottom. He said, "I'm never buying calls again. See you at 200K." So even though he just lost 85% of his portfolio, he doesn't think options are a problem altogether, just calls. And because of that, he once again YOLO'd his whole portfolio on options the following day, this time on puts. But unfortunately for him, SPY started rebounding as soon as he got these puts. With just 2 more trades, he officially lost it all, with the exception of $9.30. He says that part of the reason he lost it all was because it just felt like numbers on a screen. He didn't feel the weight of his wins until he lost it all. He also says he could have upgraded his car and graduated college debt-free. Now it's a whole new grind. Secure Control 2020 was a saint though and gave him some really sound advice. Just get a $25,000 loan again. Can't happen twice in a row. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment who had
Alright,
the
y'all.
craziest trade.
Alright, y'all. Craziest trade to me though is I'm saying that one dude that up 100K, then drop back down, then go right back up. He had the craziest trade to me. What the heck? Come on. I press X. I don't know what that is. But yeah, he had the craziest trade to me, hands down. The dude that was just doing up, down, up, down, up, down. But yeah, man, we're gonna end it right here. Y'all have a good one. Like I said, comment down below any type of other videos y'all want me to react to. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. And yeah, your boy Kisses out.